You're listening to Comic Reflections, episode 106. I'm your host, Nicholas Prom.
I'm Jeff, because not just any man can handle a double head of cream.
What? Okay. I know that's from a story for today, but I don't get the reference.
Oh, I was amused.
Okay.
And all will be known at the
Yes.
episode this week.
Yes. So, Comic Reflections is brought to you by Rhymes with Geek. You can check out our show, plus plenty of other cool podcasts like Feed It Comics, the all-new Anti-Fanboy, and Super Podcasto Magnifico at rhymeswithgeek.com. Plus, you feel free to subscribe to us, please, on either iTunes or Stitcher.
Mm-hmm. They give you a famous no prize. Remember those from Marvel?
Yeah, if you spotted a mistake or whatever, you'd get a little thing in the mail like...
Did you actually get something?
At first you didn't, but then they became a thing, like they mailed you a little notice.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a great splash page with Superman holding the world. And it's really neat. You saw Kill Bill Part 2, right?
I didn't see any of those movies, but I know the speech that you're referring to.
Yeah.
I want to dissect that at some point on the show, because I think there's a lot of things that are not right, and there are misperceptions and misconceptions in that monologue. And it's unfortunate because that's becoming very famous. Yeah. And I think it's influencing people.
This is Superman? Why not do it now?
I'm not fresh enough on that. I need to rewatch it again. But I'm going to do it, make notes, and we'll do a special little mini-sode just all about that.
Next time we do a 100-page Superman, because we love our Superman.
That's right. Now let me get back up a little bit. This is a Superman 100-page super spectacular, and it's Superman number 278. The lead story of which is it's all reprints except for the lead story. And this is called Super Showdown at Buzzard Gulch. Written by Cary Bates, penciled by Curt Swan, and inked by Bob Oxner.
Presenting a brand new rip, roar, and shoot 'em up saga of the Amazing Superman. Oh, because, Amazing Spider-Man. It's Amazing Superman.
So,
Super Showdown.
This is like the third or fourth Terra Man story that we've done.
And they all blow.
But I wonder, is this the best Terra Man story or the worst Terra Man story?
Ooh.
I feel like this one's a little better than the others.
Yeah, some things going on that were interesting, and some thinking going behind it, and
that never happens.
Yeah. Why does Terra Man just? I don't know.
If he just had powers and he had a defined power set, I might like him better. But he just has all this stuff, and then just like, oh, here's another thing that's going to cause Superman problems, and it just comes out of thin air.
Right.
That's what bugs me about Terra Man. It's like magic almost. Oh, we'll just make up a thing.
Yeah, but Luthor comes up with things, but it's just one thing he comes up with.
Well, right, or he invents or builds a thing.
Yeah.
This is just I've got this flying six-gun or some goofy crap.
I cleaned it out of my closet and look what I found. Something to kill Superman. Isn't that good?
Yeah.
I love when that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like he's got all these inventions, but he didn't invent them.
Right.
So I don't know. That's what's cool about Luthor. See, he came up with all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Or he stole it from somebody and turned it evil.
Oh, and the Western thing, it'd been cooler if he was fighting against modernity and he just ignores modern world except for the weapons. But if he kind of was conflicted about it and had Western stuff come out as he's trying to be a future man, that might be more interesting than...
Well, yeah. I mean, Terra Man is about as deep as a puddle. He's pretty one-dimensional.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to just destroy Superman because I'm an outlaw, the best outlaw ever, and he's the number one lawman and stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of stupid.
Yeah, his motivation is crap, especially because he wanted to destroy Superman, who had never done anything to him.
Mm-hmm.
Until they fought.
Yep.
And because he blamed all of the law for the death of his father. But then he realized it was the alien that had abducted him and raised him, so he shouldn't be against the law. His whole motivation is thrown out the window.
Yeah.
So it's stupid.
Yeah.
Okay, but let's talk about this story.
Right. Morgan Edge is having a meeting, and Perry White, Lois Lane, and Clark is late. 15 minutes cause of traffic.
Yeah, but who's here? Who's here and on time? Lola Barnett and
Jimmy Olsen
and Steve Lombard.
Yeah. I love Steve. It's the only thing I like about this era.
Is Steve Lombard?
Yeah.
He is the one thing that's added that's not an improvement, but that's good. But unfortunately, it's at the expense of making Jimmy, Lois, and Perry minor supporting characters.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a good trade-off.
Yeah.
I don't.
The power goes out, and it is a really cool panel of.
Now, this is at the Galaxy building, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
and they're in the elevator or something like that. No, they're in the hallway,
Mm-hmm.
getting out of the elevator, and the power goes out, and you can see the glow of Perry's cigar and a little bit of his white shirt and all that.
Yeah.
Very well done. I really like.
Yeah.
that.
In fact, looking at that panel, I wonder if that's a photo that was turned into a negative to create that effect.
I don't know. It's well done.
Yeah.
So, then everyone disappears, and then we go to Buzzard Gulch, the Buzzard Bank. Wouldn't you love to be? Yeah, here's my Buzzard Bank card. That'd be great.
Oh man. So and then Clark finds himself atop a horse and getting thrown from it.
Yeah, and he's wearing this goofy bowler hat, and he gets bit by a snake, and the snake loses his fangs, of course.
Of course.
And then he meets Lois, who doesn't know he's Superman, but knows he's Clark.
Isn't she the school marm now in Buzzard Gulch?
Mhm.
Terra Man, of course, has abducted all the people of GBS / the Daily Planet and brought them to this pretend Western town and brainwashed them. They all think that they're in the Western time.
Yeah. Also, Terra Man doesn't look good. You know, okay, he has a nice cape, which is okay, but
And I like the way he kind of has gun belt kind of like slung a bit to the cockeyed, you know?
yeah,
That's cool. But yeah, he looks stupid.
and his face isn't that good. He's got a Fu Manchu. Nah.
Yeah. So anyway, this is all a plot by Terra Man because he's gonna make Superman, fight him in several different showdowns, and if Superman loses any of them, one of those people from the planet is gonna die from the
Right.
Daily Planet.
Mhm. So the first showdown, Superman said, "I gotta be really, really fast." So he draws. He's so super fast, he melts the gun.
Which is crap.
Yeah, kind of. I thought it was kind of interesting concept though. That
I
he
mean-
can be too fast, but
Yeah.
and that could happen. But he had to move around the world in order to get that much friction.
Well, right.
It's just air. Air has friction, but not that much. And
Right.
maybe the speed. I don't know if he goes at the speed of light, almost maybe would it do it? I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I just
Yeah.
read comic books. Oh, and here comes Terra Man. He has 6 revolvers, and they shoot these guns,
And they float in the air.
and they follow him. So Superman uses his cape and saves the day. But yeah, and he wins, and he saves Lois Lane.
Yay! And so in the back of his gun belt, Terra Man has how many? Is it like 8 bullets? And
Yeah. For Lane, Lombard, Olsen, Barrett, White, Edge, and Kent.
Okay, that's right, because he doesn't know about Superman being Clark Kent. So,
Which is, you would think he would have some gizmo in his pocket.
Yeah.
That's
but especially if he was able to come up with this plan
Mhm.
to abduct all of them. But anyway, they're all labeled for them, and each time, if Superman loses any of these showdowns, one of them's going to die.
Yeah.
So,
Alright, so, and here's where I got the opening thing I said. Clark goes into the bar saloon, and he orders, what is it, a double cream sarsaparilla?
oh, that's right.
I want one of those now.
I don't know where you can even get a sarsaparilla.
I've seen them, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's specialty stores.
probably have to go to like Fuddruckers.
Yeah. Ooh, I was so disappointed with Fuddruckers.
Really?
Oh boy, you can make your own hot dog or hamburger. And
Make your own. I don't remember that. I remember them serving them to you, but what do I know?
I'm pretty sure, but you order a hamburger, then there's a little thing you can or you can make your own. I
Like a
think.
buffet?
Yeah.
I don't remember that, but maybe that's a thing they have also.
Or maybe it's something they got rid of.
I don't know.
But I was disappointed. But you can't get everything you want to in your burger. But if you watch Idiocracy, you'll never think that Fuddruckers the same way again. Have you seen the movie?
Only the beginning.
Okay.
But I'm sure it's something hilarious and stupid, so I'll take your word for it.
All right. So Steve gives Clark some crap about it, and he pours a beer on his head. Right.
Oh yeah, Steve Lombard is the saloon owner or something, right? Oh no, he's just a jerk in the saloon.
Right, drinking a beer, and he pours it over Clark. Oh.
And Clark uses his heat vision to like melt the tap on the beer keg, and then it sprays all this beer on Steve.
Yeah,
which is funny.
Yeah, it is. I enjoy those. That's all right. So here comes the next big
showdown.
Yeah.
He's got to wrestle this bull.
Yeah, he's got a bulldog it.
Yeah.
And he said, "Oh, this is pretty easy." Until the bull grows another head and bashes him, and then he that's the end of it.
Yeah.
He loses.
And so who dies?
Steve Lombard.
Man.
And not his day.
No.
All right. So then Superman stops Terror Man from robbing the bank, or tries to. He goes into the bank and blasts it and have a huge fight. But Terror Man comes out with the money. So Jimmy dies.
Yeah.
All right. So here's another one. It's a fist. Let's see, a fist fight. And Edge dies.
Yeah.
And then Superman gets lassoed by them, and then it's Clark's time. And this is all of a scheme by Superman because he knows that Terror Man does not know who Clark Kent is.
Right.
So this is the entire plan, and
so turns out it just causes a kind of a fake death. It's like it just looks like death. And when Superman or Clark is being carried over Terror Man's shoulder, Clark melts those bullets on the back of his gun belt, and it revives everybody who'd been dead. And then Superman beats up Terror Man.
Yeah. And everything is everyone goes back home.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. Even a Terror Man story at its best is just meh.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? Where was this pretend Western town? He built a fake town just to do all this stupid stuff?
Yeah, was it back in time, or was it not, or something, or...
And wasn't, like, he wasn't after anything, just revenge?
Yeah, it was a stupid revenge, too.
Again, like, because we said, he has no real reason to want to destroy Superman or anybody.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if Terror Man was a hero?
Oh, he would be better than Superman, almost.
Really?
I mean, with all those powers he has.
He would be, I think, get rid of that handlebar mustache and he'd be a cool Western super character.
Well, you couldn't be in Westerns because he'd be too powerful.
Well, I mean, you could have him still have his same origin, but if he was a good guy...
Yeah.
Because he realized that alien had killed his father, and then he says, well, I'm going to be good.
Yeah, the problem with Terror Man, he's just trying to be the man with no name from the Italian Westerns.
Right.
Spaghetti Westerns. And he's a ripoff, a bad idea, and stupid.
Right.
And he never recovers. Silver Surfer was trying to get on the surfing craze. It works. I have my doubts about the surfboard, but Silver Surfer is cool.
Yeah.
Terror Man is not. He never will be. And I don't know, he could be reborn and someone could reboot him and do a good job. I don't think so.
No, he's just kind of plugged along as a recurring Superman foe for a long time until there was a story a few years back called 52, and it was because there was an issue that came out every week for a year.
Mm-hmm.
And 52 was cool. Terror Man, Black Adam, Captain Marvel's arch foe, he takes over the country of Kandak, which is basically Iraq, and he and Isis and this kid who's basically kind of an evil version of Captain Marvel Jr. rule this country. But Terror Man shows up and is like trying to pal around with Black Adam, and Black Adam's not having any of it, and he rips Terraman in half, lengthwise.
Oh, good. So
Yeah.
it has a happy ending.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Oh, did you hear the announcement? It's basically been known but not official that the Dwayne Johnson, The Rock,
Yeah,
he will be playing Black Adam in the Shazam
I've
movie.
heard that.
Yeah, they have made it official now. That came out this week.
Oh, okay. Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Dwayne
So-
Johnson's pretty cool.
yeah, and I think for him to get to play a bad guy, I think it'll be great. I think he'll be terrific as Black Adam.
Yeah. Was he Groot? Or was that...
That was Vin Diesel.
I get those two mixed up all the
Do
time.
you?
I don't know. They're bald wrestlers or something wrestler type guys. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I
Vin
thought-
Diesel isn't a wrestler, but yeah, he's a big
Ah, he's good.
he's a big hulking guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But probably not. Okay.
yeah,
All
let's take a look at what we've got going now. Oh, it's a 2-page filler of Lola Barnett's gossip.
Yeah, and we've got some goofy things of how to save gas by having Superman pull your car. Morgan Edge, I don't understand this one. He's riding a horse to save gas, I guess, and he has a secretary in the back, and the secretary doesn't really like that.
Yeah, I see Jimmy Olsen get his butt kicked at a karate thing, and that's funny.
Yeah. Johnny Nevada has to talk to Mixel Plick. Man, I like to watch that. That'd
Yeah.
be cool.
Yeah, Johnny Nevada's this other character at GBS, and he's basically Johnny Carson.
Mhm.
Remember we had that one where he turned into like a monster or something and fought
Right.
Superman?
Mhm.
That was lame.
Yeah. There's a Steve Lombard does a belly flop because Superman or Clark does something.
Right.
Not sure why he's doing that.
Yeah.
He tries showing off, and he had to do something. Clark never does anything first. He's always reacting to Steve.
Right. And so because Clark can't do anything malicious. He just gives him what he deserves.
Right.
Because if he was just doing mean things to Steve, it wouldn't be very Superman.
Mhm.
You know.
All right. The people land on Earth, on the moon, and here is, and they see Superman was here. That was kind of.
Yeah, I don't think Superman really does vain things like they just carve his name in rock on
Yeah.
planets he visits.
Oh, I got here first, and it's kind of mean.
Yeah.
and some of the Superman's themes are letting humanity do things and go by themselves, but no. And here it's kind of a slap.
Yeah.
You spent $1 billion, and I'm here first. I could have just taken you up here for nothing.
Right. That's very true.
Yeah. Oh well, but this is the first time and last time I've probably seen this.
Yeah. So yeah, that Lola Barnett thing, just some filler, and it's just fluff to me.
Well, it's because something's interesting. I would love to see the Mixo-Pillic thing. Though.
Yeah, those would have been interesting subplots in an actual story, or maybe Private Life of Clark Kent stories or something.
Yeah.
Well, those
Which
are
needs
usually,
something.
God, those are such a drag most of the time.
The last one was good though.
Yeah, that one with Pete Ross,
Mhm.
that was good. We got a pretty good one coming up with Perry White.
Yeah.
But most of the time, they're just a drag. So, but yeah, on to our next story, and this is a Silver Age reprint from it's a Mermaid from Atlantis from Superman number 138, written by Jerry Siegel, penciled by Wayne Boring, and inked by Stan Kay.
Oh.
It's a Lori Lamar story.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. Why? An ancient civilization sinks beneath the waves. Everyone thinks they're going to be speaking, they'll be able to breathe underwater, and this is
As if they could instantly change over.
yeah.
Yeah, unless maybe because we don't know that much about Atlantis, maybe they were amphibious before and that they were able to make the transition.
And supposedly,
Or maybe they had a dome city that sunk and they were able to live.
was it Aristotle or Plato? I forgot who wrote about it, but it may have just been a metaphor anyway. So
Sure, we may never know.
we probably will not. Oh, okay. Man, it's Silver Age stuff. It's good to go.
Oh yeah, this is the Weisinger era is absolutely the pinnacle of Superman stuff for me. I had to warm up to it because it was so different than when I you know, had read of Superman previously. But once I got into this, I'm like, no, this goofball stuff is the best stuff. It's so wackadoo and so much fun. Nothing compares.
Yeah, it is really interesting, and I don't think it can be replicated. I don't think anyone else can do this.
No, and because if you look at 70s Superman stories, these guys are trying to do some of those things, and they just fall flat.
Yeah.
They needed jerk-face Mort Weisinger to tell them what to do.
Yeah, I think it has to be in the 50s, and when everybody's kind of innocent, too, maybe.
And it's so weird. The Weisinger-era Superman seems to exist outside of the rest of the DC universe.
Yeah.
Because the only other heroes Superman ever interacts with are the occasional guest appearance by Aquaman or Batman and Robin. You know, it's the Superman that appears...
And Legion.
Yeah, and the Legion. But outside of the Superman books, the only title that features Superman, because there was a bunch of Superman books, you know, Justice League of America, that Superman feels so disconnected from this one. This Superman, I don't think it ever references the JLA at all.
Yeah.
So...
It is. It's so square. It's cool.
Yeah.
I was watching Dragnet, 1970. Super square thing. They're trying to find out if this guy who committed crimes one day, and he's about to get paroled, and he has 3 outstanding warrants. So, Jack Webb and his buddy Harry Morgan.
From MASH?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
And it's super square, but it was just great. And they find out that, he had a bad day and committed some crimes. He did 14 years, let him go. I was almost in tears after Dragnet. It's really well done.
Wow.
But it's the same kind of thing, super square, and there's a charm to that. I'm not trying to be cool, which I'm super, super tired of.
Yeah. The thing is, Silver Age DC Comics, especially the Weisinger Superman books, they are incredibly square, but because they're oddly cool.
Right.
Because they don't care about cool.
Yeah.
Occasionally there are pop culture references, but it's so oblique, it's still square as observing a pop culture thing.
I did enjoy when Jimmy Olsen pretended to be the Beatles in ancient Greece.
Yeah.
I was amused. But stuff like that.
Or when Superman met Pat Boone, that kind of thing.
Yeah. The less of that, the better, though. But nothing is worse than trying to be cool and failing.
Well, right. And then I'm really against pop culture references, especially celebrity or fads, because they become really dated really quickly.
Right.
But the occasional reference in these Superman stories, it works just fine. Because this is such a timeless period.
Yeah.
Because every story in this feels like the 50s, even well into the 60s. And it
the
just
60s were the 50s for a long time.
Oh, I know, the first half of the 60s.
Maybe into 68. And
Yeah.
It's really, and if you go to your school yearbooks from 1968, 69, everything's going on, and everybody looks like they're from the 50s.
Right.
There's only about 1 or 2 guys with even longish hair.
Yeah.
Depends on the high school, but mine was, where are the hippies at?
Right. But the Weisinger era, I think, starts in the early 50s and lasts through the 60s. And that period, even though it's 15 years or so, it all kind of fits nicely into a comic book feel of maybe a 5-year period or a 10-year period, where everybody works in the same place and these relationships remain fairly static. So it's kind of cool.
All right, and this is kind of... All right, so there's some kind of underwater thing that Perry White sends Lois and Clark to go down and check it out. Oh, man, the Daily Planet people get around. Huh? All right, so they... so it explains about
Lori
Lamaris is thinking about Clark and how she met him. She fell in love with him. She got sick. He went and got a mermaid doctor for her.
From another planet.
Yeah. She falls in love with him. And
And she's so happy and in marital bliss, she wants the same for Superman. So she's going to try and get him to marry Lois.
right.
And that's the whole plot of this story,
Yep.
or various schemes. You remember that one where Krypto was doing all the things to try and get them together?
And this is mentioned at the very end of this.
Right, I believe that story actually follows this.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. And I'll tell you, Supergirl tries to do it, then Lori does it. Then
Oh
Krypto.
yeah, I forgot when Supergirl did it. But yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of sweet. It's something you would do for a friend, and it's real life, and it doesn't have to be talking about inflation or something, or
Right.
whatever's going on. And that's very Seinfeld. And this is why Jerry Seinfeld likes it, I believe.
Oh,
Because
for a
these
lot of
are-
reasons, yeah.
Yeah, and because it's universal truth.
Yeah. And I realized there's an element to this period of Superman that's, okay, remember at this time, from the late 40s through the 60s, the romance comic is a very vital subgenre in comics and very popular. And this has so many elements of romance comics because this is such a constant theme.
Mm-hmm.
Is Superman going to marry me?
Yeah.
Is he going to ask me to marry him?
Yeah, romance.
And who's he going to get together with?
Right.
Is it going to be Lori? Is it going to be Lana? Is it going to be Lois? Is it going to be some alien queen? Who
Yeah.
knows? So
And I don't understand romance comics. I don't understand romance novels. It's beyond me. I am not against them. Whatever floats your boat.
yeah, I happen to love romance comics. They're so
Actually,
much
I
fun.
enjoy it when we do this, and they're fun. But I wouldn't be going out buying them. And
Yeah,
interesting. That's gone. Period.
yeah,
And
it's too bad.
yeah, I think there's some romance in comics now, but that's about it. But,
Right.
But it's really just mainly shacking up, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm being too cool. Yeah, there's some, especially in the X-Men and all that.
Yeah, there's complex relationships in comics. So,
Man, Fantastic Four and complex and a half.
oh yeah, well the Reed Sue Namor triangle has gone on forever. So,
Mm-hmm.
so
All right. Lois and Clark go into. We're supposed to go to Bathysphere in the morning.
mhm.
Lois makes Clark sleep late somehow, and she goes into the Bathysphere, and Lori has this really wickedly goofy octopus fish or something. Yeah, I don't know what it is.
yeah, it's weird. But
And
she
it's
has it.
beautiful though. I love it.
She has it grab the bathysphere. One thing, though, because Superman doesn't need to sleep, Clark would always be just pretending to sleep then, right? So how could she get him to sleep in?
Oh, but he's awakening here, so
Yeah, it's weird.
I don't know. It's kind of you think Superman needs to sleep or something. I don't know.
But he doesn't.
Maybe he does. He doesn't need to, but he does anyway, just to
Okay. That's it. Okay.
because well, why not? All right. So he goes in and he scares off the evil. No, he's not an evil creature; it's a goofball creature, and it looks goofy.
Yeah.
And it's meant to. It's meant not to be dangerous.
Right.
And then sharks attack, and Superman beats the crap out of sharks and throws them in the air. And it's a flying sharks. Now I've seen everything, says a sailor. And, sharks do fly up in the air and catch stuff. They do.
Sure.
This. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Lois is saved from the sharks. They bring up, and so Lori is stymied because it didn't work.
Right.
But she said, she mentally tells Superman to kiss Lois, and he kisses her on the forehead, and that makes Lois mad.
Well,
Because
duh.
she wants a kiss on the lips. So Lori is messed up again. So, and Lois is worried about he'll never marry her and all that.
Yeah.
So here they come. They find a castaway.
Right.
Someone in a
Life raft.
life raft, and
And he has amnesia.
mhm,
Imagine that.
indeed. And he's handsome, and he's wearing an expensive-looking ring and a coat of arms on his shirt. So Lori was trying to makes him fall in love with Lois, so it makes Clark jealous.
Mm-hmm.
And Clark figures out who it is. So, it's some king's son, and if he gets married, if he marries Lois, which he wants to now, since Lori did a wimmy jammy on him. It'll cause a war between two countries because
he's already betrothed to some chick to kind of create a treaty or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So here comes Lori with another idea of putting Lois Lane faces on fish,
which is so weird.
It is bizarre.
Yeah.
And
so it's meant to make Superman think he's seeing Lois's face everywhere, so he must be in love with her.
Yeah.
But then it doesn't work because the faces fall off or dissolve or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, they're supposed to vanish.
Right.
She doesn't want him to find that they're actually masked.
Oh, right.
Oh, the mask is off whenever she touches a remote control button.
Yeah.
So then a monster fish or whale, some kind of weird something or another.
Yeah.
It looks like it's got eye stalks or something.
Like a slug.
Yeah.
Okay.
Clark falls into there. Aha. So if Clark saves himself, then he's really Superman, so then Lois is going to have to marry him because she's going to marry Lois to keep her shut up.
Right. Good thing Aquaman happened to be there.
Yeah, Aquaman's called by Superman with his super... How did he get it? A supervision that could...
Did he see that Aquaman was nearby?
Is his power of super ventriloquism?
Oh, he called Aquaman with a super ventriloquism?
Yeah.
Oh, man, okay.
Oh. Yeah.
The super ventriloquism.
Yeah.
That is the weirdest power.
I don't know.
In his whole range of superpowers,
yeah, probably so. Yeah, and it's apparently he can go everywhere, so he doesn't need telephone.
Yeah.
Yep, but pretty cool. Okay.
Yeah. So he uncovered Lori's scheme, and it didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got a Golden Age Superman reprint, and this is The Compass Points to Murder from Superman number 33, written by Bill Finger with art by Ira Yarbrough.
Mm-hmm. Oh, all right. This shipping magnate is. Oh, that's almost.
You know it's the 40s once there's a shipping magnate.
Yeah, and that might be a clue there because a magnet is a compass. Is in a compass. So
it could be.
I don't know. Maybe you get to clues where you can here. So he's killed, and he leaves a clue. A compass and a scrap of paper saying news.
Yeah.
And then he figures out news, north, east, west, south.
Clark does.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so he's off on the case. But he waits a week doing nothing before he leaves.
Huh.
It's in this panel right here.
Yeah.
I'm like, why wouldn't you go right away? Superman sits on his butt for a week? Yeah, that's an exciting comic. But this whole story, I gotta say, it's so he's off on the murder mystery, a globe-trotting adventure. But this feels really, it's kind of dumb as a Superman story. It feels like this would be a really good Batman story at the time.
Yeah.
And Bill Finger wrote it, so it would probably work. And maybe it was conceived as a Batman story and just turned into a Superman story.
Yeah, how is Batman going to get around there?
The Batplane?
Yeah, the Batplane. Yeah, I guess so. But it wasn't a bad jet this time, was it?
What? Yeah, there was. So he wasn't necessarily like a supersonic, but yeah, he had the Batplane.
Okay. So there's 4 guys. One is a whaler with blackfish whales. I never heard of those before.
I have.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. So
because I'm a wizard.
And it's during the war, so they're doing this to help with the war. It's lubricants. They're using whale oil until the 20th century, I think.
Sure.
For a lot of stuff.
Blackfish whales are killer whales, by the way. Orca whales.
Huh.
Yeah. And you know whales are always drawn wrong in old comics, so we'll just move on. Okay?
Yeah. Okay. Really? Okay.
Yeah.
And that's interesting. All right, then here's a pearl guy getting pearls.
Every one of these guys is exploiting the natural world.
Yeah, well, everyone exports the natural world, even
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
hippies and all that stuff. All right, so the next one is he's getting animals and hides from Africa, and the next one's just getting silk. So the entire thing is he saw that the compass at the very beginning was going the wrong way, and he figured out, oh, it's going towards this big globe, and the globe is made out of big, heavy steel, and it's not a globe, it's a safe that's
Right.
shaped like a globe,
That was in the guy's office.
and NEWS was the combination.
Right. And so
And-
in it was the revealed who the murderer was.
Right.
And so Superman takes him to jail.
And there's no clues to who it was.
Right. We knew it was one of those guys, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So this is great. This next one is super cool. It is The 7 Secrets of Superman, reprinted from World's Finest, number 62, written by Edmund Hamilton, penciled by Wayne Boring, and inked by Stan K.
okay. What do you think? Okay. This scientist invents a fourth-dimensional projector that will send something to the fourth dimension and to anywhere he wanted to.
Yeah.
And we have the let's see, we have the highest place, deepest place, biggest crater, hottest place, coldest place, the most dangerous place, and the safest place.
Yeah.
What do you think the safest place is going to be?
I'm not going to say because that will spoil the whole story.
Oh, did you get it then?
Well, no, but I've read the story.
No.
I figured it was on Superman's person.
Did you?
I
I thought it was going to be either the Fortress Solitude or Fort Knox.
Okay.
So I was proven wrong.
So I guess I figured that out somewhat. But
Yeah. Kudos to you.
all these locations have the components of the the plans for this device.
Yeah, there's 7 capsules of 7 parts of the plan to make a fourth dimension projector.
Yeah.
And he hears Luthor knocking, so he knows Luthor is a bad guy. So, what's his name? Wilmot? Wilton?
Doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
We'll never see him in another story. So
Yes, we've seen him already.
have we? Okay.
Yeah. So Wilton sends the stuff, the plans to all these places, and then destroys the machine.
Okay.
All right. So Luthor comes in and demands that demands, and he's ticked off that the machine's broken. Superman comes in. He's angry. Luthor has already captured Lois on a scoop. Put her in this glass jar, and the air is finite.
Right.
She's gonna run out of air.
So Superman has to get the stuff in time. He's got to do what Luthor wants, or Lois will die.
If you take the glass tube or case off, and it blows up.
Yeah.
But how is he going to save her? Not with
Right.
Luthor.
Is Professor Wilton the same scientist that was discredited in the one who was communicating with Jor-El, and that creep took his formula and was teleporting between the two coasts? You loved that story.
Yeah, I think it might have been.
Okay.
I have seen Mr. Wilton, Professor Wilton before.
Okay.
Although they all look alike.
Although in that story, Superman hadn't met that guy before, and clearly he meets him in this story.
Mhm.
So, but little continuity errors happen like this happen all the time. So,
Right.
So-
All right. So the tallest place is Mount Everest. The lowest place is Mindanao, which is in the Philippines.
Right.
Trench, which is not there as Mariana's Trench now.
right. But they made a note of later they discovered deeper
Yeah.
place. But at this time,
Hmm.
that was
Yeah.
the deepest known.
And
So-
there's a big crater on the moon. Now there's a bigger one on the Mars. Superman, when going to the moon, notices that he's kind of moving weird, and he thinks he might be drunk or something. Or he's tired. The hottest place is in the desert and Sahara. The most dangerous places at this. I thought this was the only lame part about it was a bad nuclear reactor that was pretty bad. And they had to use remote control machines to go. It was so much radiation around.
Right.
So they come back, and And then he said, "Well, I can't figure out where the safest place is."
Right.
And Luthor says, "Oh, it's in your heel." So.
Yeah, because the professor had projected this into Superman's boot, and he didn't even know.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, this is a weird time of DC Comics. All the bad guys have their mouth open all the time.
Well,
like
that's how Wayne Boring would draw people too.
Yeah, I mean, really, like they're shouting sometimes.
Well,
it's kind of it's odd. I don't hate it, but it's just evocative of this period or something.
Okay.
So, Luthor is going to make his own projectile, so because he gets the 7th capsule,
right?
And then Superman says, "Oh, I'll make my own," and and he makes his own, and he takes Lois Lane out of the bottle,
right?
And Luthor's does not work because
it was just a mock-up, a model, kind of.
Now,
Like it functioned okay, but
Superman figured out how messed up with the plan, so it would not work.
Okay.
So he transports everybody, and they go to jail. So okay. Oh, so not a bad story. Pretty clever. You had to think about it.
Yeah.
Been all over the place.
Yeah. So the next story we have to talk about is Clark Kent, Coward, reprinted from Action Comics number 298, written by Leo Dorfman, who usually is one of the worst Superman writers, but this story is cool, and penciled by Kurt Swan and inked by George Klein.
All right. Our gang, Clark, Jimmy, and Lois find that this criminal's hot air balloon is already put in jail, thankfully. So Clark and Lois go into the gondola and check it out. Jimmy is just goofing off. Hey, Jimmy, watch out for the cable there. That's the only thing that's holding us. And of course, he immediately trips over it, and the balloon goes off. The grappling hook, that's what it's called.
Right.
Jimmy's about to hit the signal watch, which I really love the.
I love with the Z. I love Jimmy's signal watch.
Oh, and but Lois says no. It's gonna be a great scoop, man. This I don't know. What does Lois love more, Superman or scoops? Man, she will do anything for a scoop.
I think she's kind of torn on that. I think there's some bifurcation there. Is that the right word? Does that apply?
Maybe, yeah, maybe. I don't know. So, balloon goes up, goes over mountains. There's some trouble. Clark has to use, as Superman, uses super breath, and they find a lost civilization. Yay! And attacked by a metal bird.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, it is. And then Superman
says it must eat metal, otherwise, you are what you eat.
I guess so.
Yeah, doesn't it eat part of the stuff on their hot air balloon?
No, he tries to eat the grappling hook, but it doesn't.
Right. So they land, and all the people in this land, every dude is some big muscle-bound hunk.
Yeah.
And the queen of the land, who was supposed to marry some guy, gets a look at Clark the wimp and thinks because he's so different, she's totally smitten with him. Although Jimmy is more of wimpy looking than Clark, because Clark is kind of big. Yeah.
Clark goes and bows down to the queen, which everyone else is appalled at. Americans do not bow down before royalty.
Right.
But he does. He does it because he sees that a glacier is attacking his Fortress of Solitude.
Or it's going to hit it.
Yeah.
And so he peers through the ground and uses his heat vision to melt through the crust of the earth all the way to the other side of the planet to melt the glacier. Yeah. Here's the thing. It doesn't melt his glasses, and we don't see any holes, or nobody in the room smells anything burning. And you would think all of those things would happen.
Yeah, although his glasses are super glasses. So
are they?
Yeah, he made some super lenses.
Okay, well, still. The other stuff is pretty true, though.
Alright, then he finds out that Lana Lang and her father is about to die of thirst in the desert. They're going to look for dinosaur bones. Yeah. Which would be really cool. Although it's probably really, really boring.
Yeah, most of the time it probably is.
Yeah. So, so he saves the day by going through the earth and opening up a well.
Yeah, and so they have all this drinking water and they're fine.
So, here this is kind of interesting. Clark has this bouquet of flowers, and he gives to the queen, and she gives him a kiss, and he blushes. And he says, "I don't blush." Isn't that interesting? I did not know
I
that.
thought that was so weird. I'm like, why wouldn't he blush? They make this because I'm super, that I don't get affected like that. I'm like, that's a natural. If you have blood, it's an emotive response.
Yeah.
So I thought that was crap that they're trying to say Superman can't blush.
Well, Clark says it, so he ought to know.
Well, right, but I thought it was
know.
weird.
Yeah, I thought that was weird too. And why does he care if he's blushing? I mean, he has to wipe it off and all that because it's pollen from the flower made his face red.
Right.
So the Queen Laura wants Laura
Mm-hmm.
because she's alluring.
Mm-hmm. Oh, very
She
good.
wants to marry Clark, and so this other guy she was going to marry, a big beefy guy,
Uh-huh.
who's taller than Clark.
Yeah.
So, and that's the problem with Clark is that when you take off his clothes, he's He-Man looking. And,
Yeah.
And
He's just supposed to...
they put him in a leotard here.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, the thing is, like, in his suit, yeah, he's a big guy, but he's supposed to be so oafish and bumbling. But, yeah, they put him in a tight suit, and you see how cut he is.
Right.
Because he's Superman.
Right.
So, yeah, he's got to do a duel with this other guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't really want to do it because he's playing up the wimp thing. They've got power rangs, which are like exploding boomerangs. And this is what they're supposed to duel with.
So,
Yeah.
but the guy who's going to marry the Queen, he's really going to aim it at the power ring at the Queen and kill her, and then he'll be in charge.
Oh, so he didn't really love her or anything. So we can't feel bad for this guy if he loses. That's really good. That's quality. Good writing.
So, Superman, as disguised as Clark Kent, blows the batarang and it hits his mountain or whatever it is.
Power ring. But yeah.
And it hits this mountain in Africa and exposes some
Dinosaur bones.
Yeah.
So
and
Lana and her father get to discover a dinosaur.
Man, it's nice to have friends in high places.
Right?
So Clark throws his, but he throws at the metal bird.
Right, which doesn't hurt it because it's made of metal.
Mm-hmm. And remove only a few of his feathers.
Right.
So they're going to get married. And so how's Clark getting away with this?
Gonna get out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh.
How does he get out of it?
All right. So there's a. Let's see. There's a. There's a bomb in the cake. The wedding cake. Jimmy calls Superman
With his signal watch.
Yeah. And he comes in, he eats the bomb, and he burps. And he beats these other guys up because he heard them talking about killing her.
The
Killing
Queen.
So Lois is, see, this Superman, he's the real man. Clark is a wimp.
Right.
And Clark is all scaredy cat. And Jimmy, at the power ring thing, Jimmy is disgusted with Clark.
Right.
Jimmy is brave. He's a goofball, but he's never cowardly. He's always ready to go.
Right, and when they did this in the 70s, and it's not a great period, but they kind of try to reinvent him as Mr. Action, and he's like really putting himself into like situations. He's almost a blowhard at that point, which it's they're pushing Jimmy too far in the wrong direction, I think, at that point. But but here it works. Yeah, Jimmy's not a coward.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. So Lois is just really ticked off that this Queen will marry Clark.
Yeah.
So Clark says, "How am I going to get out of it?" So he pretends to break his glasses and makes fake glasses. I can't see anything. So he talks to Lois like she's the Queen and says, "I'm blind." And so the Queen says, "Well, we don't have that mineral to make glasses, i.e. sand in our kingdom."
Right. And notice Lois sees Clark without glasses and doesn't make the connection.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man. She's so enamored with Superman, she cannot see him right in front of her.
Right.
That's classic.
Yeah, it is. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's a good story. They go home. Everything's finished.
And Lois decides to go on a date with Clark.
That's true, and I thought that was super cool.
Yeah.
All right.
So the very last story we got to talk about today.
Superman Spectaculars.
That's right, from Action Comics number 211, written by Bill Finger, penciled by Wayne Boring, inked by Stan Kay.
All right. Because it's Superman's anniversary, the Daily Planet is international.
Oh,
It's
right.
in 5 different countries.
And
So he's got to do something special in each country for Super Spectacular.
That's right.
Which is interesting that Superman will work for a newspaper to do that. It's kind of uncool.
It's kind
really.
of self-serving. But
Oh.
they approached him and like, okay, I'll go and perform a super feat in all these
Yeah, is
cities.
he going to do it for every newspaper or something? It's kind of
It's just
working for the Daily Planet, which points the finger towards Clark.
Yeah.
Clark, Superman would have been smart. He would have had somebody, even more beefy guys that look like Superman work at Daily Planet. So,
Oh, like,
awesome.
because you know how Superman has all those robots?
yeah,
What if he just made up a person and it's like, you be a robot and be the one that people suspect is Superman?
right. Mhm.
That would be good.
Yeah.
But then because it's a robot,
hmm
I think it would probably get exposed. Because people would be actively trying to figure out if he was Superman.
and they'd be shooting him, and he might make him be
Malfunction.
a robot. But then
But that would be a good story, though.
Mhm.
So, what do you say? You like the Superman universe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I adore the Superman. I love the robots, and I love everything about it. And there's not much that irritates me about Superman
No.
in this period. So it's just kind of cool that so he's got to do these spectaculars. So he turns the Eiffel Tower upside down, but so it's going to be in the Paris
Daily
Planet.
Planet.
And he looks, and it's not in the next day's planet. And says,
Right.
what gives? So he says, well, and he gives some lame-o excuse. So then he goes to Greece, and he makes a Trojan horse, and he makes an atlas. And again, nothing in the paper. So,
Right.
what gives? So then he goes to Italy, and he fights lions, and then he makes he races a chariot with horses against him, which is kind of lame, actually. I could have thought of something. All right. So he says, well, they didn't print it again, so I go to Dutchland. What is it? It's
The Netherlands. Holland.
Yeah. And Netherlands is correct word for it.
Well, Holland is also the correct word for it. So, but yeah.
So he says, well, they're known for shoes, windmills, and sailing, so I'll make some big wooden shoe ships, and there'll be a windmill.
To power
rowing.
them.
Yeah,
Oh, that's cool.
which would not work.
No, but it would if you're Superman.
Right.
So.
So then you go, and then they don't print it either, and Superman's kind of.
Hey, what gives?
Yeah. So he goes to Japan and makes this huge Japanese lantern.
Yeah.
And it banishes night from the sky.
Wow, because it's so bright.
Yeah, and big. So Superman is bummed out. Hey, they still didn't do it. So what they did was they had everything. It was all a ploy to honor Superman. They had all the pictures on one page for every newspaper.
Yeah.
So, which is kind of a mean thing to do. It's a super dickery.
Yeah, I mean, like, come on. He is the kind of the savior of humanity.
Right. So I'm going to be playing around with him, but I don't know. I think he kind of enjoys this type of thing.
Yeah,
So,
and I do too, because it's fun.
And I do too. And hopefully you do too.
Yay!
All right,
All
what
right.
do we have for next week?
Oh, man, let's take a look. This is going to cover both of our episodes for next week, as usual.
All right. Silver Surfer now strikes the ghost.
That's right, Silver Surfer number 8.
Mephisto is in there.
Yeah.
Ooh. To steal the surfer's soul.
Yeah, it's a two-parter, and we've got both parts there. That's Silver Surfer number 9.
Oh, bitter victory.
Yeah, we skip forward to Silver Surfer number 11.
Yeah. All right. Dagar the Invincible.
Yes,
Another
number
word,
5.
Another time.
And then the following episode, we'll have Superman number 271.
The man who murdered Metropolis.
Wait, you skipped one.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Superman with Batgirl.
Yeah, and it's Superman number 279, Menace of the Energy Blackmailers.
Wow. Okay. And Superman, Duel of the Diamond Demons.
Superman number 280.
Oh.
And then we've got a Charlton comic. It's Ghostly Tales number 67, and that's really fun. It's Charlton firing on all cylinders with all their top
Pretty
artists.
cool looking.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
For Pete's sake, stop shaking and act like a man, Clark.